Alright, everybody, let's discuss The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I'm going to discuss the remake slash sequel, whatever you want to call it, next week. So look forward to that. And let's talk about this one. This was my second viewing, and I don't remember how I felt about it the first time I saw it a year or two ago. And yeah, I was curious to go back to see if I liked it, because like I said, I didn't remember how I felt about it the first time. And this is an okay movie. I can see why it never really got that popular. You don't really hear it discussed a lot amongst the horror community. This is one of those movies that's based on true events, just like a lot of movies, and they never really tell the story 100% accurate. But this movie, I looked into it some, and it seemed accurate enough. Like, same location, right? Texarkana, and Baghead Killer, named the Phantom. They changed the name of the victims, but I read into it, 5 people die, 3 people get wounded. In this movie, 5 people die, 3 are wounded, and the killer was never caught. So if you know the story going in, you know how it's going to end, and you know how many people are going to die and everything. I think even the tagline for the movie was, 5 people dead, and the killer to this day is still lurking the streets, something like that. And this movie was getting sued by, victims' families and shit. I can't imagine what it would be like. I mean, just imagine, put yourself in their shoes. Like, somebody dies brutally, like shot, like tied up or whatever, and then sexually assaulted, and then shot, twice in the back of the head or something, just brutal. And then a couple of decades go by, and then they make a movie about it. And instead of your sister or your loved one getting shot, they get tied to a tree and stabbed with a trombone. That would just be insane to put yourself in their shoes. Like, how pissed off would you be? Would you even go see that movie? I don't think I would. I wouldn't go see the movie, period. But that's just, I don't know, that's just interesting to think about. Like, if that was you, how would you feel? How would you react? But yeah, but it's a movie. It takes creative liberty, changes some things, and, the trombone kill being one of them. And thankfully so, because that's the standout thing. That's the iconic kill of the movie. It's one of the most iconic kills of all time, if you ask me. I love that kill, but I don't know. You can't really enjoy the movie like you do other slashers where you're like rooting for the killer to kill people. Like, yeah, kill them because they're not real. But in this movie, they're supposed to be real, so it's not like I'm like, yeah, stab her. No, that's a real person. That's based on a real person, so it's a different feeling when I'm watching this movie. I'm like, I don't want to see him kill anybody because this is real shit that happened. Not trombone, but people getting shot brutally like this. So I don't know, it's just a different feeling I have when I watch this movie, and it kind of takes away the rewatchability for this movie because it's kind of dark, but also very comedic at times too, which is the downfall of the movie. It's just all the inserted comedy that is just not needed. It is cringy as fuck. Yeah, I'm not doing my normal structure here where I go pros and cons. I'm jumping all over the place. I just gave a couple of pros and cons. I'm going all over the place. Positives for this movie. The things I really liked about it. I like the look of the killer. It's like Jason in part 2, but cooler looking. I like this look way better. I like the way the eye holes are cut out and some of the shots of him in the movie. How brutal he is. He's breaking down the door and that chase in the cornfield. I like that stuff. Like basically all the scenes with this phantom killer in the movie. And according to the story, that is how he looked like. Some people said he had a mouth cut out. Some people said he didn't. Some people said the killer was black. Some people said he was white. So it's a mystery to this day. And I like how it's told, like documentary style, narration, and they put the dates on the screen. It's like a documentary, and based on true events, kind of. They changed some things, and it's 1946. That's different for like a slasher movie to be like a period piece. It's the only time you see a slasher in any other decade besides the 70s or 80s is in the opening of Prowler that I can think of. But in this movie, the whole movie is 1946. You got all the cars and how the women and guys are dressed. Just the aesthetics. It's got that 40s vibe. So that's different aesthetically for a slasher. I like that. Fresh change of pace and different. And the trombone kill, I love it because it's just creative. It's different. It's unique. I like that. Things I don't care for in this movie is that there are some bad edits, some day for night photography. Like there's a scene where they're in a car, it's nighttime, then the couple drives somewhere. The next scene, it's like morning, and then it's night again. I don't know. It just has some bad day for night photography, unless it was supposed to be morning. I don't know. But yeah, there's like bad audio edits and shit. Like when this girl's screaming, like her scream will just like cut. Like they just like cut her scream out of the movie for a second. There's some bad edits. And the doofus cop in this movie is just cringy as fuck. I don't like him. I don't like his humor. It's not needed. This movie should have been more gritty and, disturbing, more suspenseful. There's not a lot of suspense until like the third act with that whole farmhouse chase. I like that scene, but there's not enough like stalking and like, suspense building in this movie. And because it's told like a documentary, it's not like a movie. There's no like character focus, focusing on characters or character development. There's no characters that really stand out in a good way. I don't like the doofus cop. I don't like his comedy. And there's the scene where they all start dressing up like women, and that comedy is not funny to me. And yeah, like the music too. Like it's kind of got like that Halloween 5, but not as bad music when the cop's like looking for his keys. Like the music is kind of like telling the audience, like, in case you haven't figured it out, this guy's an idiot. So yeah, too much humor, not enough suspense, and too many gun kills. Again, I know it's telling the story, and that's how it was actually happening in real life, was this guy was shooting most of his victims, if not all of them. He shot and killed them all. You can change that. Just like with the trombone kill, they should have changed the other kills, because it's a movie. You can change things and still tell the story, but just change things. So final thoughts, I think this movie is just okay. It's not very rewatchable, but it's got a cool killer, very brutal and menacing, and I just really like the look, and I like how true it was to a lot of the details of the story. That actually kind of, told the story as accurate as it could. I know it didn't tell all the facts, and it's loosely based on the story, but I think it does a decent job retelling the story. But then again, I wasn't there. Maybe what I read online was wrong. Who knows? But at the end of the day, as this slasher documentary movie, I think it's okay. It's got some slower moments in it, but overall, a decent watch, worth checking out at least once. So when it comes to The Town That Dreaded Sundown, 1976, consider streaming this, borrowing it from a friend, or renting it at Redbox. So in the opening, we got these couple going to Lover's Lane, like a lot of horror movies in the 80s. And they get attacked, and the killer, we see a lot of shots of like the killer like lurking around and like ducking, which is something you don't see in a lot of slasher movies. Usually they just kind of pop up. We never actually get to see like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees like moving around, and then when someone's about to like flash a flashlight at them like duck and shit. Like we actually see this killer trying to like duck and avoid being caught and stuff, which was interesting and different. This is the part of the movie I was talking about where I said there was some bad edits, with the scream. Her scream would just get like cut short, like the editor just lost the audio file or something. I don't know. It was just weird. And then they both survive. I thought that was different. I wasn't expecting that. And we find out that the killer is like biting them, like chewing on their breasts, I think they said, and their back and stuff like that. So I read in the real story, he actually sexually assaulted one of the victims with his gun. They don't show that or even talk about it in this movie. And then we got some day for night photography here, and we got the conductor from Terror Train, the train conductor. We got the whole thing that we see in a lot of movies where there's like police investigations and shit like this, where people just start turning themselves in, like, I'm the killer, I did it, arrest me, just trying to seek attention. And then they make all these cops dress up like women, because I guess there's no female cops in 1946. So all the guys gotta put on makeup, and they go like overboard with it, just like very rosy cheeks and like balloon tits. It's just too much. It's cringy. It's way too much comedy for a story like this. Like they should take this shit seriously. And then we get the scene where he attacks the couple while they're driving. Like they drive off, and I guess he's driving like 5 miles an hour, because the killer just runs up, catches up to the car, and like breaks the windshield or the side window, gets the guy out, and the car crashes, and then he shoots this guy, and then uses the trombone on her. And I love her reaction. The acting's not that good from everybody in this movie, but like her reaction to seeing her boyfriend get shot is, "Oh no!" Like that's how she said it, like that, almost perfect. I imitated her almost perfectly. "Oh no." Like that was her response to seeing her boyfriend get shot in the back a couple times. Oh no. I like how before he kills her with the trombone, he's like practicing with it first. Like he tapes it on and he's like, like trying to blow on it, and like he's using it beforehand, like doing like a little practice run with it. Like, all right, how's this gonna work? And then he uses it on her. One thing they bring up that I like, because it's a scary thought, and it's the thought that, he says, we could have walked past this guy like 10 times or something like that and not even know it. Like this murderer could have passed us on the street 10 times today and we don't know. He's still out there. It's just like Michael Myers, at the end of Halloween. That's why the ending is so great. It's like he's out there. And that's why the ending of this movie is kind of spooky and awesome. It's because like he's out there. Okay, A, either nobody in this movie knows how to drive, or B, cars in 1946 were a lot harder to steer. Every time they're driving and there's like a police chase, it's like the roads are hard to drive on, the tires suck, or they suck. I don't know, but they're just constantly going crazy with the wheel. Cars are spinning and everything. Like there's no asphalt on the road; it's all dirt. So maybe that's why it's harder. I don't know, but everyone in this movie is like crashing their cars. No one knows how to drive in this movie. It was making me laugh. And then they say like a couple of times that 4 people were dead. No, 5. Yeah, 5. They kept saying like 5 people were dead, but at this point in the movie, 4 people were dead and 2 were injured. But the one guy who's like, I'm the Phantom Killer, he's like, yeah, I killed 5 people. It's like only 4 people have died at this point. So that's when the other guy should have said, like, aha, I caught you, you're a liar, because 4 people have been killed, not 5, unless you want to admit that there was another murder that you did that we don't know about. But I just thought that was weird that they kept driving home the fact that 5 people were killed at this point when 4 people were, and they never corrected the guy at all. This guy gets shot in the back of the head twice, double tap, very cruel. And then, the other girl, she gets shot in the head twice also, but she survives. And in real life, like this is what really supposedly happened to this woman. She got shot twice in the face, went through her cheek and like out the back behind her ear, and the other one went in her mouth, like hit her chin right below her lip. It just went like in her teeth and lodged underneath her tongue, completely removing some of her teeth, fucking up her jaw, everything. Like, what a brutal, man. But it was silly, like the effect. Like when she gets shot in the face, like a whole second or two goes by before the blood behind her like splats on the wall. So that was a bit ridiculous. And then, we get the whole cornfield chase, and, she bangs on the neighbor's house, and, she gets saved by them, and then the killer is just walking around this area, and the 2 cops are like hundreds of yards away, and the guy takes a shot. It's like he didn't even know that the cops were there, that the cops were on his trail, and then he gave them away. He shot from like hundreds of yards away, misses the guy, and then therefore the killer knows that they're there and can run away and he escapes. So why the cop shot? Like he was confident that he was going to make that shot, I guess. But that was just a silly, dumb decision on the cop's part. He should have waited until they got closer and then took the shot. And they even shoot the guy in the leg, and the train goes by, and you can see a crew member on that train. It's funny. Rewind it, watch it again. There's a shot, as they're shooting at the guy in slow motion and everything, there's a shot of a crew member on the train, one of the train cars, and he looks like he's shirtless. He's holding a camera. I thought that was funny. But they shoot the Phantom Killer in the leg, and like a couple seconds goes by, the train's gone, and they just like, oh, he's gone. Like, dude, he's wounded. There's no way he hopped on the train. He's right over there somewhere in the woods. Chase after him. But they're like, oh, let's call the bloodhounds. Let's get them out here. Like, no, dude, he's wounded. You shot him in the leg. You know he did. How the fuck did they lose him? Like, that should have been done differently. I doubt that's how the real story went down, because I don't buy it. How did they lose him? They didn't even make any attempt to run into the woods a little bit. They could have at least ran a mile and then be like, all right, we lost him. But instead, the train goes by a few seconds later, and because they don't see him right away in front of them, they're like, oh, he's gone. Like, he didn't fucking disappear like that. He's not Houdini. and he didn't hop on a train, not in his condition. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't try at all to capture him. And so, yeah, but that's the end of the movie. He escapes, and he was never caught. So, yeah, that's the end of the movie. The Hockey Mask Award for Best Character in this movie will be Captain Morales, the guy from Terror Train. And the Hanky Award for Worst Character in this movie will be Sparkplug, the doofus cop with the cringy humor. I don't like his character at all. And the Clap Award for Best Scene in this movie will be the farmhouse attack, when the couple gets shot twice in the face and the other one survives. And the Funny Bone Award for Funniest Moment in this movie is when the one cop like squeezes the other cop who's undercover on his balloon tits. He squeezes his balloon tit and it pops. I just thought that was pretty funny. And then the Hat Award for Best Kill in this movie is the trombone kill. It's iconic and very unique. And the Twig Award for Worst Kill in this movie will be the first double murder that's done completely off camera. And those are my thoughts on The Town That Dreaded Sundown, 1976. What are your thoughts of this cult classic documentary type slasher? Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, Auf Wiedersehen.